Today we'll be looking at how to find the equation of a line when you're given a point and the slope of the line. So here's today's FLT. Given one point and the slope of a line, I will be able to write the equation of the line. So last time we looked at how to write an equation when you're given the y-intercept and the slope. This time we're looking at random points that aren't necessarily the y-intercept. First, let's just quickly review lines written in slope-intercept form. So what do lines written in slope-intercept form look like? Well, the form is y equals mx plus b. And here, m represents your slope and b represents the y-intercept of the line. So again, the slope-intercept form of a line is y equals mx plus b. So here's today's main question. What if we're given one point of the line, so x comma y, and also the slope of a line? How do we find the equation of that line? So today we'll be finding the equation of a line given a point and the slope of the line. Here's our first example. What is the equation of the line that passes through the point 3, 2 and has a slope of 2? I tried graphing it so you have a visual representation, and now we'll take an algebraic approach to find the equation of the line. Notice in the graph I labeled the point 3, 2, and from there I went up 2 and went to the right 1 for my slope of 2. Okay, so the equation of a line in slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. And what are we given here? What values are we given? This point here, 3, 2, gives us some sample x and y values. Based on this given point, we know that x equals 3, that's the x value, and y equals 2, the y value of the point. We're also given the slope, m equals 2. So we have these values. Now we're just going to plug these in to find any missing pieces. So the line in slope-intercept form, let me write it here again, is y equals m times x plus b. And notice here, I can replace y, m, and x, but I don't know b, so that's what we have to find. So I'm going to replace y with 2. So 2 equals, m equals 2 as well. So right here I have 2 times 3, because that's our x value, and then plus b, because we don't know what b is. So I replaced y, m, and x with their corresponding values. I replaced the y with a 2, and the m with our slope 2, and the b with 3. So now let's simplify what we have here. So we're going to simplify 2 equals 2 times 3 plus b, step by step. So first I want to multiply. So I'm going to multiply this 2 times 3, which equals 6. So I have 2 equals 6 plus b. And I want to isolate the b. which is very similar to when we were solving for x. It's written a little bit differently, but it's still the same idea. So how do we isolate this b? I'm going to subtract both sides by 6 because this 6 is in the way. So minus 6 on both sides, and this cancels out. 2 minus 6 equals negative 4, and on the right side, we're just left with b. So let me rewrite this. b equals negative 4. And for the equation of a line, when we're writing in slope-intercept form, x and y, those are variables, so those stay as letters because we can plug in different points there. But our m and b are certain solid values. So we already know the slope, m equals 2, and now we know b equals negative 4. So the equation of the line is y equals 2x minus 4. The equation of this line is y equals 2x minus 4, which you can check graphically. So by looking at the graph, does this equation make sense? Notice how we solved for b and we got that b equals negative 4. And that's our y-intercept, right? So if we look at the point 0, negative 4 right here, indeed, this is the y-intercept. Remember, the b value gives you the y-intercept of your line. And in this case, we were given the point 3, 2 with slope 2. But let's say they give us the point 1, negative 2 with the same slope. We'd get the same exact equation because any point on this line would yield the same equation. So I know there were a lot of steps here, so if you need to, feel free to pause the video once and walk through the steps again on your own. What did I do at each step? For our second example, we are asked, what is the equation of the line that passes through the point negative 1, negative 3 and has a slope of 3? I graphed it again, so take a look at how we have the point negative 1, negative 3, and then I figured out the slope of 3, and so here's the graph of this line. But let's find the equation of the line algebraically. So I know the equation of the line will have the form y equals mx plus b. And we're given x and y values from the coordinate and also the slope. So here, x equals negative 1 based on the coordinate point that we're given right here. And then y equals negative 3, again based on the given point. And the problem tells us that the slope is 3 in this case. So I have the x, y, and m values, so let's plug this in. I'm going to plug these values into the equation y equals m times x plus b. We're going to replace values. So negative 3, that's the y value, equals, so our slope is 3 times our x value is negative 1, and then the plus b. I want to simplify this, so we're going to multiply first. we're going to multiply this 3 times -1. That equals -3. So I have -3 equals -3 plus b. And my next question is, how do I isolate b? How do I solve for b? Well, I'm going to remove this -3 by adding 3 to both sides. This is going to cancel out, so b is by itself. On the left side, -3 plus 3 equals 0. So I have 0 equals b, or rewritten, b equals 0. So I know that m equals 3 and b equals 0, so I can now write the equation of this line. The equation of this line is y equals 3x plus 0, but technically you don't have to write the plus 0, so I'm just going to erase that. The equation of this line is y equals 3x. And let's quickly take a look at our b value, which was b equals 0. So that means our y-intercept must be at 0, 0, right here. And look, this is the y-intercept of the line. So we've correctly found the equation for this description. For this example, we are asked, what is the equation of the line that passes through the point 8, -4 and has a slope of 1/2? We have a slope that's a fraction right here, but don't worry, because remember we practiced how to multiply fractions a few lessons ago. So let's find the equation of this line based on the point 8, -4 and the slope 1/2. Alright, so up here I'm just going to write the slope-intercept form of a line. Y equals mx plus b. And what values are we given here in this problem? I know that our x value of the point is 8, right here. And y is going to equal -4, or we're setting y equal to -4 based on this point. And we also know that the slope of this line is 1/2. So m equals 1/2. Because right here we're given that the slope is 1/2. Let's plug these into the equation of a line. Y equals mx plus b. So I have -4 equals the slope 1/2, or 1/2, times 8, which is our x value, and then plus b. I'm going to rewrite the 8 as a fraction so that it's easier to multiply. So let's rewrite this entire equation. -4 equals 1/2 times 8/1, that's the same as 8, and then plus b. And when we're multiplying fractions, remember you want to multiply the numerators together and the denominators together. Oh, and I just underlined which part we just simplified or rewrote. All right, so -4 equals 1 times 8 over 2 times 1, and then the plus b. So let's simplify it even more. Negative 4 equals 1 times 8 equals 8 over 2 times 1, which equals 2, and then the plus b. We can simplify this, so we have negative 4 equals 4 plus b. Okay, so we got up to here. Let me start writing on the right side because I'm running out of space. Negative 4 equals 4 plus b. And how do I isolate the b value? I want to get rid of the 4, so I'm going to subtract both sides by 4. 4 and the negative 4 are going to cancel out. And on the left side, be careful. Negative 4 minus 4 equals negative 8, and that equals b. So we solve for b, and b equals negative 8. So we now have the slope and the y-intercept, so we can write the equation of this line. The equation of this line is y equals 1 over 2, or 1/2, x minus 8. So the equation of this line is y equals 1 over 2 times x minus 8, because our slope was 1/2, and our b value, the y-intercept, is at negative 8. And I graphed this equation on Desmos. Take a look at the graph. It might be a bit hard to see, but notice that this line does go through the point 8, negative 4. So we're correct. Let's do one more example together. So what is the equation of the line that passes through the point negative 2, 1 and has a slope of negative 5 over 2? Don't get scared of negatives, but also remember to be careful when you see negative numbers. So the equation of the line and slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. You've probably heard me say this like 100 times now. Okay, so x for this problem equals negative 2 based on the point that we're given, and y equals 1. And our slope, m, equals negative 5 over 2. And we're going to plug these values, or replace these values, for the equation y equals mx plus b. So replacing the values, we have 1 equals negative 5 over 2 times negative 2, and then plus b. So let's simplify this step by step. First, let's multiply negative 5 over 2 times negative 2, but I'm going to rewrite it. So negative 5 over 2 times negative 2 over 1. Notice I just left the negative signs with the numerator. Okay, so multiplying the numerators together, negative 5 times negative 2 is 10, and then the denominators, 2 times 1 equals 2, and then plus b. And notice I can simplify, so I have 1 equals 5 plus b. And let me know if you have any questions of this process. Right, so 1 equals 5 plus b, and then how do I isolate the b value? I'm going to subtract both sides by -5, and this cancels out. 1 minus 5 equals -4, so -4 equals b, or b equals -4. I know my slope and my y-intercept, so I can now write the equation of this line. So the equation of this line is y equals -5/2, that's the slope, times x, and then -4, our b value. So we found the equation of this line, and just to make sure, I graphed it on Desmos. It might be a little hard to see, but the y-intercept is at 0, -4, and the slope is -5/2. And I know that I'm correct because I noticed that the line goes through the point -2, 1, which is the point that we were given initially. So just as a review, the equation of a line written in standard form is y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and 0, b is the y-intercept coordinate. Today, we looked at how to find the equation when we're given one point and the slope. Please remember to submit your notes and then move on to practice problems on Delta Math.